So this is it. It is the Manchester derby. It is the Portuguese eye gouger versus Pep Guardiola, the beautiful bald man. And I've been joined by my two favourite Blue Moon Rising TV members when Alex and Elliot are on here, Paul and Walter. How are you doing, guys?
Oh, what a beautiful introduction, Stephen. I'd say you rank at least in my top 5 as well.
Cheers.
I think it's 5.
Well done here, yeah.
Walter, how was Spain? You're back.
It's absolutely fabulous. I was able to catch all the City games live whilst you're, overlooking the Atlantic Ocean in Tenerife, having a few pints. There's not a better way to watch the game. I don't know what is.
Well, there is, and it's with us back in Manchester. And this is a big game. Let's not underplay this. This is absolutely massive. But is it the biggest game of the season? I'm going to start with a very simple question there. Is it that big a game that it overshadows the rest of the season for you, Walter?
No, I think the biggest game of the season we had to play so far even was the Steaua Bucharest. We had to get into the Champions League, full stop. And with the Champions League comes the exposure, comes the extra money, comes the extra revenue, comes the extra... We're in the Champions League, so you can... We're not playing on a Thursday night. West Ham.
Yeah, no, it's every game has been massive so far, to be honest, hasn't it? Because all eyes have been on Pep Guardiola's first competitive games at City. Everyone's expecting him to come undone. It's not happened yet. We're top of the league. It's only by goal difference. We shouldn't make too much of that. But we are top of the league. He's done everything that's been asked of him. We've done it perfectly. We've executed the plan perfectly so far. This is going to be the biggest test so far, though. Yeah. I mean, we can't say anything else really. This is the big one, and the media attention on it is just enormous, isn't it? I don't remember quite a derby being like this, certainly not during Pellegrini's time. Probably have to go back to Mancini and Ferguson brawling on the sidelines, and it's great. I love it.
Do you reckon we're going to see some brawling then? Because obviously this game has become Pep versus Jose. It's become those two. They have quite a sideshow. They bring it with them, and that's understandable. They are two of the biggest names, in my opinion, in football management. Is there a chance he could overshadow it? I mean, are we expecting to see a more reserved Pep, Paul?
Yeah, I think Pep's trying to make us think that he's coming into this now more mature than the Pep Guardiola that was at Barcelona, and that was his first proper job he was at Barcelona B, obviously, but his first proper job as manager. And so now he's had a year out, he's had some time at Bayern. And so I think we are going to see a more mature Pep Guardiola. But I'm interested to see if Jose's still going to be able to wind him up, because it's true that he did, although that we can't say that head-to-head, that a lot was made of him winding him up. And arguably it's one of the things that made Pep want to leave that league, was because of the media scrutiny. Yeah. But I think that this Pep Guardiola is going to be a lot more calm, a lot more measured, and he's just going to, whatever happens, I think even if we get beat, I don't think it's going to be enough for him to blow his top. I think he'll just take it as it comes and just deal with it. But I think this is a more mature Pep Guardiola we're going to see now.
I mean, I'd just like to add on the back of that, who doesn't Jose Mourinho actually wind up? I mean, the United fans were calling for him when he played for Chelsea, the Chelsea doctor, the players. I mean, the man is just a wind-up merchant, full stop. So who doesn't he wind up? So to pick on Pep individually, I think it's a little bit unfair.
Yeah, I think it's part of the fact that his character is so explosive, is the fact that he ends up walking away, not walking away, actually, getting sacked, more accurately, at the end of every 3 years, because he just, it's like he throws a grenade behind him over his shoulder, and he ends up taking himself out in the process as well. So I think Pep is probably going to let Jose play his mind games, and I think he's just going to brush him off, and it'll be easy as that.
See, for me, I actually think this is a bigger game for Jose than it is for Pep. Yeah. I honestly believe that Pep is pretty indifferent because he's a more philosophical kind of guy. And I do believe that Jose, he really defines himself against other people. I think he measures his own success against what other people do. And I think to him, Pep's almost like his kryptonite. And he hates the fact that Pep kind of tries to remain composed, tries to do this whole thing about his philosophy and his style of play, where Jose is the kind of a bit more kind of, down your throat. He'll kind of really go for it. And I think he does get under his skin a little bit. And I think he would admit it publicly. But to me, I do think Jose really wants to win this game. Of course, Pep does. But I think he's going to be fired up to prove a massive point here. Do you reckon, are we going to see any histrionics on the touchline, Walter?
I don't really think so. I mean, I agree with you. I think this game means far more to Manchester United than it does to Manchester City at the moment. And the simple reasons for that are, since Ferguson left, we've finished above them every single year. And when you also factor in this idea of Jose actually got kicked out of Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? And we went and took, and let's make no bones about this, we actually took the man that Bayern Munich, the board, etc., wanted to keep. He's actually come to us. The man's never been fired, and what I loved about him when he got unveiled was this whole idea of he's here to learn. You could see a mature sort of level thinking rather than sort of reactionary type things. Behaviour that actually Jose actually gets involved in. Now, what I would also say is Pep is, for me, he's looking at sort of trying to improve year upon year upon year. Yeah. Jose traditionally gets his best actual performances out of a club in that first year. So the pressure is massively on him, I feel, far more than it is Pep. I mean, it is. Let's get the kudos right here. Manchester and Manchester United have actually brought two of the top managers in the world to our local area, and they're going head to head, and the world's media is just fascinated and actually looking at us. So fair play to both clubs for bringing in these guys, but let's get under no mistake, Jose is actually under more pressure than Pep.
Yeah, I mean, go on, Paul, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, there's a few things to say there. I agree with everything that Walter's just said. But that idea that Jose always does well in his first season, his first 2 seasons, and it kind of all blows up. Everyone was saying Pep Guardiola won't be able to handle the Premier League, he won't be able to deal with it. It's a whole new ball game for him. And then if he comes into this game, wipes the floor with Jose Mourinho or takes away the 3 points. Remember, it's at their place as well, so they're expected to win. If we walk away with those 3 points there, well, that whole narrative has just been blown up by Pep Guardiola, and he's just doing it with such a cool, level-headed demeanour as well. And leading on from what Walt said before, if Chelsea still wanted Jose Mourinho, then he'd still be there right now. But the fact is, they didn't want him. And he would be happily still there. He's said in the past, Chelsea is the club of his dreams, etc., etc. And he's not at the club of his dreams. And Guardiola is at the team where he wants to be. He chose us. He hand-selected us out of probably every team on the planet. Let's not get it wrong. So, and if there were any other teams beyond the earth, then I'm sure he could manage there as well, because he's that kind of manager. He's superhuman.
Oh, he's a superhuman manager. Pep is bald. Pep is beautiful. But one man,
I've a bald envy.
One man who isn't bald and one man who's definitely beautiful, Sergio Aguero. The man, he's not available now. Maybe he had his own moment of impetuosity. He kind of did get himself in trouble, put it that way. But what he's done is done now, and we go into this game without our talisman, without our goal scorer, without, in my opinion, the best striker in the league. Walter, how big a miss is this?
Well, I mean, I'd just like to kick off by saying Sergio Aguero, the problem is he gave the referee a decision to make. Yeah. And that's what all kind of landed us in this trouble in the first place. He should have kept his elbows down. He's not traditionally a dirty player. City have actually got a better point score when he's not playing, unbelievably so. And I'm just hoping they can bring that forward. I mean, I was looking at the stats there. When Falcao signed for Manchester United, Sergio Aguero scored more goals at Old Trafford that year than Falcao. So the guy's an absolute goal machine. But trying to second guess what Pep's going to do in this situation. I mean, is he going to be playing De Bruyne, that false nine? Yeah. Is he going to be playing Silva? Is he going to be playing Sane? Or is he going to go actually the tried and proven route of Iheanacho? He would just fit in because the man's an absolute goal machine. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen that goal he scored for Nigeria the other night. Absolute worldie. And if he could produce it, if he could produce something like that on a Saturday, I tell you what, it'll just be, beer's going to be flying all around the boozer. It's just going to be absolutely fantastic. So what I'm hoping completely is, are we going to miss him? Yes, we are going to miss him. He is our talisman. He is our sort of the face of Manchester City almost, is Sergio Aguero. So, of course, we're going to miss him. Is he irreplaceable for this game? No.
That's a bold claim, Walter. Paul, do you share that view? I mean, he's Sergio Aguero. Surely he's not irreplaceable.
Well, in one way, he's irreplaceable, isn't he? But I know where Walter's coming from. He's not saying that there's another Sergio Aguero there, because there isn't. There's only one, and we've got him. Yeah. But Kelechi Iheanacho, he's his own player as well, and he had a better strike per minute ratio last season than even Sergio Aguero did. In fact, I think he had the best in all the top 5 leagues in Europe. If that's not, I think that's right.
Point, yeah.
Yeah, which is, it's unbelievable. I think this time last season or 2 seasons ago, if there was no Sergio Aguero, I'd be really, really worried. But I think that we're more flexible now as a team. I think, although he's not had that much time to mould them yet, I think they know through the training regimes that Pep's leading them through that other players can slip in and we can move about. And you know how formations change at the drop of a hat at City now as well. It's that we're not rigid, we're fluid now as a team. And so is he going to play, how is he going to set up? I have no idea. I'm not going to in fact, I am going to second guess him, I imagine, at some point in this video. But I don't know if I'll be right. But Sergio Aguero is we'd want him there. He'd be one of the first names on the team sheet. But can we do it without him? Yeah, of course we can. Kelechi Iheanacho, he's a legend already.
Now, this is to me the kind of game where maybe someone like Kelechi could really, really heighten their reputation. He's already a star in our own eyes personally, but I think it's fair to say he's still an emerging talent. This could be the game that Kelechi really makes himself a household name around the world. And he works, doesn't he? I think we all seen his pressure. He presses better from the front than anyone on our team does because he is intensely keen to prove himself in the Premier League. And we have got options. This is the man who basically invented the false nine. We didn't invent it, but he perfected it in the modern era. 4-6-0. He was doing that before even Spain considered it. So this is Guardiola. He'll probably end up Kolarov at centre forward as far as we know, and it'll probably work. But I'm not really concerned. I share your optimism because if anyone can make this work, it's actually Guardiola. But that does raise a question. There is a couple of players, though, that could get involved potentially. Leroy Sané has been mentioned there. But another one who's been declared fit today is Ilkay Gundogan. Though he hasn't played yet, obviously. Paul, would you bring him in this early, or would you maybe throw caution to the wind and just go for it?
It's a tough one, isn't it? I think that the fact that Gundogan, I've said this a few times, the fact that Gundogan was the first signing that Guardiola made speaks volumes. I think the idea is to kind of build the team around him. But do you build the team around him on arguably, or not, depending on your viewpoint, the biggest game of the season so far and throw him in the deep end? I think it depends what Pep's seen, what Guardiola's seen, and how he's adapting to the game in those few training games that they've had so far. But come on, Fernandinho, is not to be sniffed at. He's absolutely brilliant. And when the time comes when Guardiola has to pick between Fernandinho and Gundogan, if he decides to just have that one holding midfielder, it's going to be a bit of a heartbreaker if Gundogan does come in and Fernandinho's not there, because he's just a beast in that position. He's so athletic and just really, really willing to get stuck in. And I think for a derby, Fernandinho is exactly the kind of player you want, isn't he? He's going to go two-footed on anyone that tries to get the ball off him. And I think you need that bit of fight and that desire coming from the middle of the park. And I think he's going to have more than your Pogba's will, who, I think the desire, he knows what a derby's all about. And I think he'll really, he'll put everything on the line to win this game and take 3 points.
I can't wait for this video to be clipped back up and shown to us next week.
Who
knows? But no, I agree. But to me, I'd probably potentially want both of them if we're going to start. Walter, your take on it?
Well, for me, Gundogan, I've got this sneaky suspicion that Gundogan's going to be actually our signing of the summer.
Yeah.
I remember when Bayern, but Borussia Dortmund actually came to the Etihad, and they were the best team I've ever seen at the Etihad besides City. And we somehow just scuffed a 1-1 draw, and it all went through him. The guy was absolutely immense, and fair play, we've actually got him on the snip. I mean, you were talking about Pogba. Pogba's an absolute fantastic talent, but they've paid through the nose for him. But they've actually got their man. Fans don't care about how much he costs. No. But Gundogan, would I start him? I'd be sneaky suspicion of actually starting him and trying Fernandinho, maybe at right back.
I think giving Gundogan the snip's a bit excessive myself personally. But anyway, give it all up to football.
Think of the future Gundogan babies we can have in our academy. I say cancel this.
Don't do it.
Cancel this castration and get him on the pitch. I reckon. I didn't think I'd be saying that at the start of the video.
Subtlety's gone out the window there with Stephen McInerney. Cheers, man.
No worries. I went straight to the point. Like what Pep's team will do, and maybe Jose's team will do. We were actually, me and Paul were browsing a few Jose quotes before that, and there's one glorious one where he said about United's teams that they play direct and hit it long to Fellaini. Now, is that actually going to be his tactics, Walter?
At the end of the day, he sees himself as a winner, and he is. And he will do whatever it takes to actually try and win that game. I mean, with Fellaini and that long ball tactic, I just worry sometimes. Would Stones be actually bullied in that situation? I'm not sure. I mean, the guy's been absolutely magnificent since he came in, but he's not been under that kind of pressure. Otamendi, he wouldn't be bullied by anybody, but he hasn't quite got that height, I don't feel, to actually be competing against Fellaini. Fellaini and Zlatan up front, with that aerial sort of threat, that's where I see the United goals coming from. I certainly don't see them coming from elsewhere. But, of course, if they stick a few past us, you can click this up and show me again.
Paul, how do you see? What do you make of United's start so far in general? They are unbeaten. They've won all the games as well. They do look like a team in form. Have they got that faith back to back? Or, maybe their form, even though they have been winning games, isn't that exciting yet. But is this a different beast to the one we've seen recently?
I don't think they've been properly tested yet, have they? I mean, you look at Hull away. I mean, at the start of the season, you'd be saying that everyone wants to be coming away from Hull. They've had a good start, don't get me wrong, but it took an injury time winner from Marcus Rashford, who's, again, if he's not starting against us, he may come off on the bench. But we've not got Martin Demichelis this time, so that's thank God for that. But they've started strongly, no doubt about it. But so we've started really strongly as well. And as with us, everyone keeps saying not been tested. I don't think they've been tested yet. So again, it just goes to show how big this game is. Really, I think the stakes are so high. But in terms of it's funny that we're worrying about Fellaini of all players. Because he's in terms of Stones getting bullied, I don't think he's going to get bullied. I think he's that's hopefully Stones is so tall that his elbow might not be able to reach him. That's the only defence I can give him. But I think we've got to worry a little bit about our fullbacks. Maybe I think that's potential weakness. United play quite strong wing play. They've got Martial in his day is a strong player. I can't deny that. And they're going to be launching into the box, I think, a lot. I think that's how they're going to play against us. And so it's just, will we deal with that aerial threat, as Walter says? Wait and see. I think Stones can do it, though. He's done nothing but impress me so far.
Look, can I just jump in there and just sort of add that, Paul, you said we're not being tested so far this season. What I would like to just roll out there, get it straight off the bat, is we've played 3 games in the Premier League, and we played West Ham, who we beat, and we've played Stoke away, who we beat. We lost against both them teams last year. So you say we've not been tested. We've played 3 games, and we're already 6 points up.
Yeah, no. I don't disagree with any of that. I think it's just everyone's waiting for that top 4 sort of game matchup. But no, don't get me wrong. Those sort of games are where we throw away points very, very easily. Last couple of seasons. I don't want to take anything away from what we've done so far. It has been, we've done everything that's been asked of us. But I think everyone's looking forward to looking at those big top 4 games, your Liverpools, Uniteds, Chelseas, whoever's going to finish in that top 4. And this is one of them, no doubt about it.
Look, I think regardless of who we'd have played, all throughout this season, there's going to be, Pep hasn't done it against this team yet. First of all, it was Stoke away. The whole myth, we busted that. Then it was West Ham, they were going to expose us. And watch if we beat United. If we do that, they'll say, well, the team's still gelling. Then if we beat Arsenal, they'll say it's the worst Arsenal team in history. And then when we get through the Champions League group, they'll say it was an easy group. We can't win it. I think that's the thing we're learning from it. Pep will keep answering these questions, and he'll keep being called a fraud. And you know what? I'll keep on not caring, because we have Pep Guardiola. And in my opinion, the man he's a genius. He really is a top-class manager. And regardless of what happens in this result, thank you. Regardless of what happens in this game, this is a team going the right way, and that's what matters most for me. I just want us to play well, and then we'll see at the end of the season, and maybe 2 or 3 years from now, who's in a better condition. But on that triumphant note, we can't obviously let it go without the predictions. Walter, your prediction?
My heart says 6-1 to us. I think it's going to be a tight game. I mean, I'll be interested in this whole fact is Mourinho's always played quite a tight game against Pep, and I'm just thinking, would the Old Trafford crowd put up with a tight game and then playing defensive football? It'd be an interesting juxtaposition. So what I'm going to go for is heart says 6-1 to us, and my head says a sneaky off the back of Iheanacho's head 1-0 win.
Paul?
I'm going to go with 3-1 City. I think it's going to be tight. I think they're going to chase. We're going to go ahead. They're going to chase it. They'll leave gaps, and we can expose that.
Paul Bold Walsh. That is a hell of a. Do you know what? I'd be happy with that. I am going to go for. Shall I be the cautious one and just say a very satisfying 1-1 draw in terms of we will play the better team. We'll keep all the ball, but the bus will be parked. They'll probably get along with a goal from header from Fellaini. But in general, I think we'll be the better team, and that's all I want from this game. I want to just show that we're doing the right thing and moving the right way. But guys, that is it. It's the big derby preview over. The big game is now to come. It's going to be interesting. What do you all make of that? Get in the comments. Are you as excited as we are? What is the score going to be? Subscribe below. Get typing your teams, your predictions. What minute Jose is going to lose his temper and try and charge Pep Guardiola? Get in the comments below, guys, and we'll see you soon.